Hello and happy Saturday. It's a weekend contest between the Lynchburg Hornets and the Shenandoah Hornets in an ODAC conference clash. Hello and welcome into Wayne Profit Court here in Turner Gymnasium on the campus of the University of Lynchburg. I'm Joe Brennan, joined alongside my good friend and partner Kevin Nestor. Kevin, we should have a fun one on our hands today. Both of these teams trying to get the wheels going in the right direction. The Lynchburg Hornets just snapped a 3-game losing skid in their most recent contest at home. Meanwhile, the Shenandoah Hornets, they're coming off a loss, but nevertheless, the game that preceded their most recent snapped a 6-game losing streak.
Yeah, and something to look at, both of these squads not having quite the year that they wanted to have, but Lynchburg, they have an opportunity here to still chip away, maybe make that ODAC playoff tournament coming up later this month. Something that they'll definitely have to be looking into as the year goes on. On the other side of that, Shenandoah, they come into this game 7-14, 2-10 in the conference. Their last time out, they had a 73-60 loss against the 12th ranked team in the country, Randolph-Macon. That was an ODAC matchup. But how about Dorian Davis? He came in, he had 19 points, shot over 50%, 6 for 11. He's a perfect 2 for 2 from the 3-point range. And then Joseph Baldwin, he came in and balled out as well, 12 points, 9 rebounds. He came in and added a spark for that squad. Not the result that they wanted, but both of those guys did their best to keep that squad in that game with a top 15 team in the country.
Well, this will certainly be a good one, especially when you look at how these two teams match up on paper. When we take a look at the statistics, these two teams really should match up nicely with one another. Coming into today, you can see on your screen, Lynchburg, a very similar points per game and opposing points per game as Shenandoah. That differential inside 3 for both squads. Lynchburg does have the edge on the glass. This is the top team in the ODAC. And then the turnovers. That's been a storyline all season long. However, the Lynchburg Hornets face a Shenandoah Hornet team that has also struggled with that to a certain extent.
Yeah, and something that's not noted on the stats, whenever you look at the team, especially for Lynchburg, injuries, that's playing a big factor. Makovic, he's not playing. Jason Easton not playing. Those are two of their most efficient players when they were healthy at the start of the season. You're talking about a guy that's 4th on the team in scoring, led the team in rebounds. That's Mason Makovic before he went out with injury. We don't have a timetable for when he'll be back yet, but whenever he does get back, it's going to be a spark for the squad if he can get back before that ODAC tournament.
Well, certainly plenty of playmakers despite the battle of attrition. For the Lynchburg Hornets, our man to watch today, none other than the local Lynchburg native in Pearson Young. Young is coming off a career-high performance with 27 points. The junior guard averaging 11.6 per contest. And on the other side, a whole lot of scoring in the backcourt as well. For Shenandoah, it's number 4, Dorian Davis, who didn't get to play when these two teams matched up at Shenandoah earlier this season. Only logged 4 minutes of action, but he is their leading scorer this season, 13.5 points per game. He has been their go-to guy, especially as of late.
Yeah, when you talk about players to watch, Pearson Young, you mentioned it, 27 points, but he didn't even make a 3.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of that, you got a guy that can just at any point in time get going. 16 plus points in his last 5 games. That's something that's kind of unheard of in the ODAC with as good as defensively as these teams are. But he's showing you it's possible.
Well, we will step aside momentarily for the playing of the national anthem, but stick with us here on LHSN as the Hornets take on the Hornets. welcome you back into Turner Gymnasium. Joe Brennan alongside Kevin Nestor, moments away from tip-off. Let's walk you through the starting five for both of these squads today. First for the Shenandoah Hornets. In the backcourt for Shenandoah, it'll be Dorian Davis alongside Joshua Stevens and Landon Russ. In the front court, it'll be Joseph Baldwin and Kendrick Robinson. Already we circled Davis as one of those go-to guys, but they've got a lot of different scoring in a lot of different places.
Yeah, and Baldwin, that's the guy that I look at. He's really efficient. He's been efficient all season. He's a 54% shooter, shoots 43% from three-point range. He's averaging 11 a game. He's our leader in rebounds. This is a guy that's going to come in, kind of fly under the radar, but add a spark for this Shenandoah Hornets team.
With that, let's go to the Lynchburg starting lineup here today. We already mentioned Pearson Young leading the way. He'll be accompanied by Jake Hart and Michael Gray in the backcourt. Really the three-headed monster for Lynchburg with that three-guard tandem. Then Jonathan Faust and Jamarcus Brown. And while a whole lot of the talk will be on this Lynchburg backcourt, it's the front court, especially with Jonathan Faust, that can take advantage of an undersized Shenandoah team.
And I think with Faust coming in, that's such a defensive unit. You know, we talk about their scoring ability, Jamarcus in the paint, all three guards from outside on the perimeter, but defensively, I mean, these are Pearson Young, Jake Hart, two of the best defensive guards in the ODAC. Jamarcus Brown, we know he has hops. He can go block anything in the gym. Jonathan Faust, he's going to give you 100% energy anytime he's on the floor. He's going to rip steals. It's going to be something to watch on the defensive end as well.
Jonathan Faust has scored in double figures in every game against Shenandoah during his tenure here with the Lynchburg Hornets. Earlier this season, he was one of three players for Lynchburg to score in double figures, finished with 16 points on 7 for 7 shooting from the floor. And we'll touch on that more as we go along today.
And you talked about that last game, 4-point win up at Shenandoah, but that was a squad, that was a team that, you know, they came together. We've seen that so much, and you showed it during the pregame stats, how close the scoring margin is for Lynchburg. They're 11-10, so you kind of expected it to be right there around each other, but it's less than, you know, half a point per game on average. And that's something that I think we'll expect to see here today. Both of these squads really expecting to win this ball game today.
Brown at the center circle sends it back. Jake Hart will bring it across the timeline and get things going for the Hornets today. It's Jamarcus looking for Faust underneath. They're going to feed him all day long. A fadeaway at this stripe from Pearson, and he gets going early.
And immediately down there on the elbow, you saw the double team come. Good recognition from Faust to get it out to his guard. He was able to knock that down.
Pearson Young has certainly started to seem like he's found another gear as of late. It felt like he wasn't fully back from the ankle injury that he suffered in late December for quite some time. As here's a three-pointer on the far wing, buried by Joseph Baldwin. The 6'6" forward, not afraid to rise from three-point land.
Best three-point shooter on the Shenandoah squad. He's going to be looking to get that look all day.
Now Faust on the other end. Good off-ball switch by Shenandoah to stay on Gray. Faust in the corner. Can't connect. Driving inside is Steven. Batted around, a third opportunity. And Dorian Davis earns the foul and a trip to the free throw line. The personal foul awarded to Pearson Young. That'll be his first of the day and first team foul as well.
And something last game against Randolph here on a Wednesday night that Coach Scott was talking about was the foul trouble that they got in early in that game. They had to go deep into their bench early in the game. That's something he wanted to try to avoid. And already Pearson Young, one of their star guys, picking up one early.
They talked a little bit about Davis as of late, scoring 16 or more in the last 5 contests. It went 16, 19, 24, 18, 19 as he goes 2 for 2 from the charity stripe. Free throw shooting a big part of his game as well. A 73% shooter from the free throw line. Dribble handoff, Mike Gray. Thought about a three. Now will take it from deep. Ricochets off the right side of the rim. Faust fights for the board. Hands it off to Hart. He'll get it right back at the line. Mike Gray driving inside, lost the handle. Davis out in front, Hart on his tail. He'll retreat, swing back up top around the horn. Steven kicks in the corner for Baldwin. Baldwin rips through, but Faust poked it away. They'll say last touch by a red jersey.
And early on here, you can see the quickness, the sense of urgency on defense from both squads. Shenandoah switching everything, getting hands on the ball in the paint. You see Lynchburg doing it themselves there, forcing a turnover.
Back-to-back turnovers on trips down the floor, the first of the day for Shenandoah. Hart takes a high screen from Faust. They are playing that screen very aggressively today. Underneath Faust, and a 3-second violation on Jonathan Faust. So 3 consecutive turnovers, 2 from the Lynchburg Hornets. And the right idea, just couldn't execute it quick enough.
And immediately, that's the matchup that you pointed out. Faust down in the post. They're going to be looking to go to that all day.
I mean, if I'm Coach Scott, this is a game where I'm playing Faust for at least 30 minutes. Davis on the near side wing, reverses the floor. Great defense from Hart. Gray trying to force his man to the right, goes over the top but lost the dribble. 1 on the shot clock, got to get it away. They say he did not get it in time. A shot clock violation, and we continue on this streak now. 4 consecutive turnovers.
That one caused by the Lynchburg guards. We talked about their defensive presence, how quick they are. Jake Hart cutting off a pass, the entry pass, kind of forcing, a bobbled possession there for Shenandoah, having to hand it off, and then a guard shot clock violation because of Mike Gray's defensive effort.
Young step back short corner, no good, but draws the whistle on Davis. I mean, he looks very aggressive today. You can tell he's feeling good. 2 pull-up jumpers, both from about 16, 18 feet.
And I think if both teams continue to play with this type of aggressiveness, this type of urgency, we could see a low-scoring game because you're seeing, early on here, there's not a lot of separation being created, a lot of shots being forced up late into the shot clock. If these teams can continue that, it's going to be a close game.
Young able to connect on the front end. Missed the second one short. Pearson Young shooting 65% from the free throw line this year. Here's Russ. Now looking for Davis. He wants to go. Pull-up jumper. No good. Faust the rebound. Had it poked away. And a foul called on Davis, his second early foul trouble.
And I think that's going to be a big key. What are the refs going to let them get away with? They're being very physical here early with that type of energy. If the refs let them get away with it, that's one thing. But early on, you see both squads, key guys, picking up early fouls.
Davis, a new addition this season for the Shenandoah Hornets. Had previously played for Mary Washington. A guy that played his high school basketball out of Highland Springs in Richmond, Virginia. Was a first-team All-Region, first-team All-State, first-team All-Metro, state champion, about every accolade you can ask for. Pearson Young, scorching hot. Says, I don't care about the accolades. Watch this bucket. 2 for 2 from the floor. And he'll head to the free throw line for the second time today. It did look like he awkwardly came down on that hip. Nonetheless, that's not going to cool him down on this hot start today. 2 of 2 from the floor, 2 of 3 from the line. He has all 6 Lynchburg points. Roberts. Now in the corner for Russ. Steven. Corner shot off the top of the backboard. Now Lynchburg is out and running. Mike Gray in the corner. Jake Hart. No good. Faust, the offensive rebound, goes up through contact. Couldn't get it to go with a left hand off the square, but another trip to the free throw line for Lynchburg.
Already Faust having a big impact on his game, a chance to get his first points here, but 3 rebounds already. Another one on the offensive end. That's something to keep an eye on. How does he kind of dominate the offensive end of the paint? We know what he can do defensively, what he can do grabbing boards down there. But if they can control the offensive glass.
That free throw sums up Faust's season from the charity stripe this year and has really been his Achilles heel. Granted, it has certainly been on an upswing towards the back half of the season. You see it right there with a lot of confidence. Laces this second one through. 2-point advantage for the Hornets, Lynchburg Hornets. It's going to be a common trend today, isn't it, Kevin?
Absolutely.
Top of the arc, it's Allen. Dribble handoff for Roberts. Now a fading 3. That's no good. Corralled by Faust. Mike Gray in transition, rises up, couldn't get the roll. Pearson Young's right there to clean it up. Largest lead of the day for either side, 5 minutes in.
Pearson Young, 8 out of 9 points for Lynchburg here.
Great defense from Gray right in front of the Lynchburg bench and causes another turnover. Young wants it. Saying clear out. He wants some ISO. Young backing down, fading away at the nail, off the back of the rim. Tipped back by Brown to keep it alive. Mike Gray possesses. Now Faust will try it again in the corner, off the front of the rim. 0 for 2 from deep from Jonathan Faust from three-point land.
I think somebody got in his head letting him know he's the guy to look out for.
That's just the second game this season where Jonathan Faust has attempted 2 threes. And we're only 6 minutes in. In the corner, a toe on the line from Shamir Taylor. And another Shenandoah turnover as Cole Calloway heads to the scores table alongside Tyler Buggs to take the place of Faust and Gray. Calloway curling inside. Now fading away over the top. Couldn't get it to fall. Rebound comes to Roberts. And a foul on the floor. Looks like this one will go against Jamarcus. And it will. That'll be his first, team second. And Lynchburg takes a 9-5 advantage into our first media timeout of the day. Stick with us here on LHSN.
Think a private education is too expensive? Think again. At the University of Lynchburg, you can get a personalized education for the cost of a state school. If you're commuting and you get our top scholarships, you could pay much less. And you get all that without the hassle of giant lecture halls. Our faculty know your name here and do more than just teach. You might even do research together and plan out your next career moves.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of.
And we welcome you back into Turner Gymnasium. It's the second meeting this season between the Lynchburg and Shenandoah Hornets. This time around, it's Lynchburg out in front by 4. The last time these two teams played, it was a 4-point game in favor of Lynchburg. Shamir Taylor led the way, leading all scorers with 29 points on 6 of 17 shooting. Faust with 16 on 7 of 7 from the floor. We mentioned that he's had double figures in every single game during his Lynchburg tenure against Shenandoah. And now this is where it starts to get interesting. For the first time today, Pearson Young heads to the sideline to catch his breath. Pearson Young has made all 3 of the Lynchburg shots. He's 3 of 4. The rest of the team is 0 for 6. Shamir Taylor, step back 3 on Hart, rolls out. Now Hart, looking to go underneath to Henderson. Up top, Gray hesitates, drives in, pulls up, knocks down. Just like that, the first field goal of the day from a non-Pearson Young Lynchburg Hornet. 11-5, just under 13 to go here in the first half. Roberts up top looking for Taylor, poked away by Hart. Taylor with the left hand, no good, rolls off the wide side of the rim. Now Gray looking to attack, Euro step, blocked. Sent the other way, and now here comes Shenandoah on the other end. And a foul by Henderson to slow down Shenandoah in transition.
And again, a big point to look out on. Both of these squads looking to get out in transition and do it fast. Mike Gray went down, put up a layup, and then Shenandoah was right back on the attack immediately, slowed down by a foul, but I wouldn't be surprised to see that fast-paced action keep up here in the first half.
4 team fouls on both sides. That was the first on Henderson. Great defense from Lynchburg right there. Pull-up jumper, Roberts. Back iron, front iron, into the arms of Henderson. Now Lynchburg wants to go with the Shenandoah Hornet on the deck. Outside for Hart, he'll pull up. Left wing 3, short. Second 3-point attempt of the day from Hart. Aaron pass results in a turnover, 3 on 4. Lynchburg wants to go underneath to Buggs. A mismatch. Not able to get it to him in time. Offensive foul, an illegal screen set by Henderson away from the ball.
I think that's a possession. When they go back and see this in film, they're going to be very disappointed they didn't get that to Buggs.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Buggs matched up with the 5'11", 165-pound guard. There is certainly a size mismatch right there that Lynchburg just couldn't attack. Off the mark, Henderson with a board. Henderson driving in and putting it through. A nice little hop step in the lane. Approaching the midway mark here in the first half. Trap in the short corner, kicked out for a 3 and buried. It's Neesmith. The 2 6'6" forwards have both canned a 3 for Shenandoah. 3/4 of their points thus far. Callaway, handoff Henderson. He's got the edge, lost his footing, and a foul was called on Shenandoah. I can't believe it. It looked like that was going to be a travel on Henderson.
I'm not even sure he was touched.
We'll see if we can get a replay of that. As you can tell, head coach Nick Doyle certainly not too pleased with that result. Nevertheless, it will send Henderson to the stripe. First one is good. Henderson, a 58% free throw shooter this year. Henderson 2 for 2 from the line. And Lynchburg with their largest lead of the afternoon. Robinson, handoff right there for Davis, but a whistle before. Another offensive foul on an illegal screen. And Shenandoah, with head coach Nick Doyle, will take a timeout and talk things over. It's his 7-point lead for the Lynchburg Hornets as we approach halfway through the first half.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
15-8, Lynchburg out in front in a clash of the Hornets. Shenandoah looking to snap Lynchburg's winning streak over Shenandoah in the last couple of years. The Hornets 8-2 in their last 10 games against Shenandoah. However, they did get a win here 2 years ago in Turner. Callaway, far side corner, you bet.
All that created by the top of the key, screen, roll, ball movement, off the ball movement by Callaway to get open in the corner, knock down a big time jumper to extend the lead to 10.
Well, like Callaway really needed that one to go. Went 1 for 4 from deep in the last game. They will count it, and the foul. A physical finish right there from Joseph Baldwin. He's up to 5 points on the afternoon. The foul was given to Henderson. That's now his second, and Jamarcus Brown will check into the contest in his place.
Henderson came in off the bench and gave this Lynchburg squad a really good spark, knocking down a bucket, a pair of free throws to get us 4 points, but he also had 4 rebounds.
Certainly a strong day thus far, and we're really just in the opening stages still. Nevertheless, Pearson Young has given Lynchburg a 9-point advantage due to his hot start today. Mike Gray, near side corner, no good. Jamarcus fights for the offensive rebound, the 4th offensive rebound for Lynchburg today. And a 1-3-1 zone for Shenandoah. The big fella wants to take advantage. Tyler Buggs right there off the glass.
They switched up their defensive pressure to kind of apply pressure to those guards, not let them get the looks they were getting early, and it kind of bit them on the back end as you saw the offensive rebound, a couple of tip backs.
Davis is straightaway 3, clangs off the back of the rim. Callaway will slow it up. Still, now it looks like a 1-2-2. Mike Gray, pump fake, short corner, pull up, got it.
Mike Gray's ability to create space is something that I don't think is talked about enough, whether it's on the perimeter with a step-back move, getting into the lane to finish the bucket, or right there you saw the mid-range sidestep to knock down Short J.
Here's a long two. Off the back of the rim, kicked back. It's Stevenson, no good. Offensive rebound, knocked out of bounds, and the last touch by Jamarcus. You talk about the shot creating from Michael Gray. He has really emerged as one of the go-to guys when you need a bucket for Lynchburg, because at the beginning of the season, it really was just Pearson Young was your shot creator, and then everybody else was mainly a catch-and-shoot type player. Michael Gray has been a big piece in this Hornet team developing, and as you mentioned earlier, especially with the attrition that they faced.
And for him, like the last game against Randolph was a big one. Pearson Young was player of the game with 27, but Gray had 21 points on very efficient shooting, 8 of 13, knocking down 4 threes to keep the momentum in Lynchburg's favor.
Bugs, another offensive rebound and another putback. A great response after the three-point basket from Joshua Stephen, and we're back to a 10-point game. Driving inside. Looked like Landon Russ wanted a call that he did not get. Tossed out of bounds. Make that the 7th turnover of the day for Shenandoah.
And a majority of them is coming in the paint, whether it's entry passes or drives that just aren't there. And it's credit to the guards forcing heavy pressure on the Shenandoah guards or the big man.
Now, Kevin, when you face a 1-2-2 zone or a 3-2 zone like this, whatever you want to call it, as Michael Gray shows another way to beat it, how would you best attack that kind of defensive approach?
Find your best guy like Mike Gray right there. Let him do his off-ball movement, because whenever they come out in the zone, there's always going to be a hole, and he's doing an excellent job of finding it here early, whether it's at the basket or outside on the perimeter.
Taylor with a pretty floater. Now Callaway the other way with a bump, no call. Bugs fights for it and earns possession right back, as they'll say it was last touched by Baldwin. And a lot of coaches like to stress this saying, to the middle, through the middle, where your offense needs to basically run through that free throw line, and then the short corner becomes your best friend. Here's Bugs at the elbow, rises with no hesitation, ricochets off the back of the rim, and Shamir Taylor forces it out of bounds, last touched by Hart. And that will take us to the under 7 media timeout. Lynchburg up by double figures, 26-16. And we welcome you back into Turner Gymnasium for an ODAC clash between the Lynchburg and Shenandoah Hornets. We mentioned these two teams are quite familiar with one another and how Lynchburg has controlled this series. But the last time Shenandoah was here, they won in spectacular fashion. Let's take a look at the replay from 2 years ago.
This gym is rocking. Everyone's on their feet.
Jordan to inbound. Now Steven. Steven guarded by Kent Savage. The step back, the mid-range jumper is good at the buzzer.
Wow, what a shot. This gym is...
That was 2 years ago, and it was Joshua Stephen, who's not currently in the game, but playing once again this year for Shenandoah. That was during his freshman season, or pardon me, actually, he's right there at the top of the perimeter. As this fadeaway jumper is good with the foul. Joseph Baldwin puts it through, but you can see Joshua Stephen right there at the top of the perimeter wearing number 10. He was number 21 during his freshman year. And what a game it was for him, his freshman campaign here in Turner Gymnasium. Not only did he just hit the buzzer beater, but he scored 27 points to go along with 5 rebounds and 2 assists. He was 10 of 14 from the floor, 4 of 6 from deep. I mean, he truly had a spectacular performance.
And you knew he was going to be somebody to keep an eye on when he comes in and puts those numbers up in an away game as a freshman. Like, that's something you don't see a lot.
And not only was that his season high his freshman year, but it still remains to be his career high. Obviously, it's got to be fun to coming back here and playing in the gym where you once sent everybody home with a frown on their face. 8-point lead for Lynchburg. Van Nellison into the contest for the first time today. Buggs has a look. Buggs left it short. Faust gets it right back, and Faust left the layup short. Back-to-back air balls for Lynchburg on the same possession. Driving inside, it's Baldwin. A nice dish over to John Allen, who draws contact. That's now the 8th team foul on Lynchburg. The first on Michael Gray, but nevertheless, approaching the double bonus. Here with 6 minutes remaining.
When they come out of that timeout and made an entirely different game plan approach. They came out on defense, left the zone, went back to man, switching everything. You saw the effect that had on shooters, on Lynchburg's offensive possession. Then they come back down, back-to-back possessions, looking for the contact, going into it, making a bucket. Didn't convert the end one last time, but again, another trip to the stripe here.
John Allen is listed at 6'10".
There's not many people that make Van Nellison look small on a court, but he does.
Hard up top, guarded by Stephen. In the corner, Gray driving inside with the right hand, spins back, fades away, laces it. And a timeout called by Shenandoah. They're going to try and talk things over and figure out how to slow down this Lynchburg backcourt. Pearson Young, Michael Gray, 8 points apiece here in the early goings. (28-18), Lynchburg Hornets out in front of Shenandoah. Here, 16 minutes and 20 seconds into the first half of action. Joe Brennan, Kevin Nestor. Kevin, what's been the biggest separator so far here in the first half?
I think when you look at the stat sheet, it's going to tell you turnovers, but it's a 10-point margin, and right now Lynchburg has a 10-point advantage with points in the paint, outscoring the Shenandoah Hornets 16-6 down low. That's been the biggest key to me in this game in the early stages.
Nearly another turnover, but Taylor gets it right back. Allen throws it off the leg of a Hornet to keep it on this side of the floor. He'll inbound with his shot clock at 11. Tipped away, Nellison keeps it in play. Michael Gray out in front, pull-up triple, got it! Michael Gray, cold-blooded from deep.
That's one of the things we talk about, his ability to create space, but in that case, he doesn't even have to. It's a step-in jumper.
Now Lynchburg countering with his zone of their own. There's the short corner. Nelson with a great contest, but Allen gets it right back and kisses it off the glass for the deuce. Just like that, Lynchburg's largest lead of the day quickly evaporates. Gray in the corner, off the back iron. Rebound corralled by Allen.
And on offense, they're doing a lot of things, Lynchburg is, to create space for their shooters. They're seeing a lot of movement inside the paint, drawing that attention. We knew that was going to be a big factor, and that's left their perimeter guys relatively open.
Deep three, Taylor, book it. Shenandoah has made their money from the perimeter here in the first half. 4 of 11 from deep. Jonathan Faust with a flush.
Faust comes back into the game, and you see Lynchburg's aggressiveness to get the ball to him in the paint.
That's his first made field goal of the day. It was 0 for 3 up until that slam. Allen, handoff for Steven. He'll come the other way, pull up from the nail, no good. Batted around, and Gray comes away with it. Quick crossover, now into the lane. Bounce pass for Bugs, he's poked away. Steven, got a step. Outside Taylor, another triple, no good. And Lynchburg will take a timeout. 30-second timeout, so stick with us. We'll be right back here on LHSN. And we welcome you back into Turner Gymnasium. It's the Lynchburg Hornets out in front by double figures, 33-23. Pearson Young back in the contest for the Hornets in place of Michael Gray, who has gotten off to a hot start today. Those two combined for 19 points.
Coming out of the timeout, you see another defensive set from Shenandoah back into his zone, forcing an opportunity inside the paint. That was no good to give them another possession.
Kind of an awkward possession right there for Lynchburg. Shenandoah will gladly take over as Roberts brings it over the timeline, gets it right back top of the perimeter, guarded by Nelson. Foul was called on Cole Calloway right there. That'll be Calloway's first personal, team's 9th. So 1-1 here for Steven.
And something that's interesting to me, both of these squads, they don't necessarily make individual adjustments. Whenever they come out of these timeouts, or if they get scored on a couple of times, they go big with their changes.
And talk about big, look at the size out there for Lynchburg right now. A 3-forward set with Faust, Bugs, and Nelson. And that feels more like Faust's natural position playing into 3. However, you do lose a little bit of shooting, but with that being said, don't sleep on Nelson and Bugs from downtown.
These guys, they can knock it down. They don't necessarily have to be wide open either. We've seen them make quite a few contested shots this year from the perimeter.
So Nelson actually standing at that 3 spot. Flashing underneath these Bugs, gets the dish from Faust, draws a whole lot of contact, and earns a pair. This will be his first trip to the free throw line today.
I think what's interesting about that set is you can see 3 different guys go in there and do exactly what we saw Bugs just do, post up. Nelson and Faust obviously looking to slash, but at any given point, they can get in there and post up.
There you can see Michael Gray, who's gotten off to a flaming hot start here, 5 of 10 from the floor, a triple in there as well to go along with his 3 rebounds. He is someone that has really caught fire as of late for Lynchburg, and really goes back to that Nazareth game where Pearson Young had to exit due to an ankle injury. Ever since then, I mean, he's been a key cog in whatever this team wants to do.
Right, and the biggest thing for him was, Coach Scott was looking for a guy to kind of fill that not only facilitator but shooting role that Pearson Young had, and he came in and did it in a big way and kind of established his identity for the rest of the season.
As Joseph Baldwin kisses it off this square for the deuce, back down to an 8-point game. And I think the biggest thing that has developed in Gray's game from this year to a season ago, not only is the offensive piece, which really stands out, but the defensive piece as well. Because for a long time, I don't want to necessarily classify him as a liability, but he certainly was not your strongest perimeter defender in a team that had guys like Jake Hart and Pearson Young and DeAndre Ross and Trey Gillenwater if we go back a year. To where this season, even from the beginning of the 2024-25 campaign to where we are now, you can clearly see the defensive intensity, the newly found intensity that he brings to the table.
And I think that's a big thing, just he upped his energy, and that kind of forced teams to adapt. And whenever, you got guards that can't necessarily cut by a guy like they were early in the season, they have to make some changes.
Faust can't knock them both down. Got the front end. Makes it a 9-point game. Faust now 2 of 4 from the stripe today with 5 points. 4 points, rather. Steven driving in with the left hand. Got his step on Gray, but botched the lay-in. Missed the easy part. Nelson rising up. Couldn't get it to go. Hart fighting for the loose ball. Underneath Bugs. Too easy. Wide open on the doorstep. Tyler Bugs gets his 8th point of the day.
And Lynchburg has controlled the offensive rebounds on their end of the floor, and it's led to many second chance opportunities. You see another one converted there, and a foul that I don't think anybody in the gym agrees with.
You saw Dylan Hall jump off the bench, the assistant coach for the Lynchburg Hornets. You can still see Hillary Scott at the end of that bench with his hands on his head. I mean, that looked like he got a whole lot of ball there. And the coaching staff surely agrees. Nicely, it moves quick on your screen, but the way it looked from our perspective, it seemed like Van Ellison got one of his signature blocks of the season. Nevertheless, Shenandoah able to convert on the front end. Stevion Robertson, the grad student out of San Diego, California, gets them both. 2 for 2 at the line. His first points of the day.
Another defensive switch up from Shenandoah here. Not necessarily full court pressure, but applying a body down there to apply some urgency to Jake Hart.
Hart underneath for Faust, has it ripped away, hit off his leg, out of bounds. That feels like a big swing for Shenandoah as we approach intermission. They want to try and stay as tight as you can, really. 9-point game, they've trailed by as many as 13. That was at the 4:49 mark. Steven, step back from 17, off the side of the backboard. Now laying it out in front in the breadbasket. Faust, clear the runway. Ready for takeoff, Jonathan Faust with a hammer. Lead back up to 11. Shenandoah will hold for the last shot. stripped away by Gray. 4 left to go. Now 3 at 2 at the horn, off the back of the rim. And you know he wanted that one. A big smile on his face as he heads to the locker room. A great first half of action through 20 minutes for the Lynchburg Hornets as Faust puts the exclamation point at the end. An 11-point lead at the break. Kevin, initial thoughts?
Lynchburg closed that first half out about as good as they could have, establishing a little bit of momentum to carry over to the second half. You saw Shenandoah start to chip away at it. A couple big plays for Lynchburg on the offensive end by Faust. Defensive stop by Gray. It's huge going into the second half.
40-29 our score as we head to recess. Stick with us. We'll be back in about 10 minutes to walk you through our keys to the second half.
Lynchburg is all about you, your ideas, and your goals. We've got one professor for every 10 students, so you can get all the support you need. In the classroom, in the lab, or in nature. You'll learn by putting yourself out there, and we're right there with you.
Look what you're missing!
Living the dream.
USA, Mexico. That was so exciting.
I learned a lot of valuable lessons playing college football. I never thought about the health benefits of exercise until I actually started to talk to coaches in college. It's not only just for performance, it's for life. My coaches instilled the importance of well-being, not only building up strength, mental health, getting enough sleep, eating properly is all what it is to be healthy. I decided that I want to go into personal trainer and share my knowledge that I obtained in college about physical and mental well-being.
Today's a rough day. Jess and I are officially on a break. The couple canoe has broken up.
It's not.
How you feeling?
Living the dream.
Just canoeing. That's the Mexican side behind me. The U.S. is that way.
So far, we're all still alive.
I really want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Woo! We did it! Kind of.
My name is Alexis Fabula. I major in criminology and I double minor in psychology and criminal forensics. My favorite part about Lynchburg is the friends that I've come to have. It's helped me come out of my shell more, and it's helped me become the person I am and the student I am. I really enjoyed how small the campus was, and I also really enjoy how small the class sizes are. It made me feel like I was going to be more engaged than I would at a bigger campus. If someone was on the fence of coming to the University of Lynchburg, I would definitely love to sit down and have a conversation with them because I'm forever grateful that I made this choice. It's definitely something that a student wouldn't regret. Out of my 4 years here, I've not had one bad experience. I've had a great 4 years, and I'm going to be very sad to go.
Want to have some outdoor adventures while getting a degree at the same time? At the University of Lynchburg, we have an on-campus zip line and rope course. Plus, we offer adventure trips that cost less than a cup of coffee. And did I mention our beautiful scenery? We're a university for students looking for something more than just books. Welcome to your new adventure experience.
Tim Slusser from the Outdoor Leadership Program gave a presentation at a Teaching and Learning Resources Conference here about getting his program more involved on the academic side of campus. I mentioned computers and mapping, and he mentioned caving, and eventually we came up with the idea of mapping caves.
So the week before, we were able to learn how to use the instruments kind of like on a flat surface and just kind of get a hang of how they work. But it was really amazing how once we got in the cave, it was a completely different experience using them.
It was unique. It got most of us out of our comfort zone, kind of gave us a new experience, a new taste of something new. But I think the most difficult parts were getting the lighting right. You had to read the instruments with the headlamps while keeping your eye pointed on the plot point.
This allowed them to actually literally get their hands dirty, collecting data, conducting measurements, and putting all that together in the form of a map, and doing it in a place that's never been mapped before.
Think a private education is too expensive? Think again. At the University of Lynchburg, you can get a personalized education for the cost of a state school. If you're commuting and you get our top scholarships, you could pay much less. And you get all that without the hassle of giant lecture halls. Our faculty know your name here and do more than just teach. You might even do research together and plan out your next career moves.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
The biggest thing that I've taken from Westover is probably my interactions with faculty. I started working with Dr. Fryer. He's always available for help, and he makes sure that I get to do the experiments and not just be there while he does them. I didn't want to limit myself when I came here to just taking the prereqs for med school. I wanted to get a full, well-rounded education, and I definitely found that in the Westover program. It's given me the opportunity to keep playing soccer at a competitive level, but also it's given me the ability to be a student and to pursue other activities such as EMS. I 100% do Westover because it's not something they're going to regret, and it's going to be a lot of work, but so is everything else. It's just going to help build their education that they've already had and make them a better person for it.
When creating a sustainable future, your choices matter, even your choice of a college. The University of Lynchburg is the first college in Virginia to go carbon neutral. Our dining hall is Green Restaurant certified. We compost all of our food waste and purchase our electricity from landfill gas. Now we're turning a hazardous lake into a thriving urban wetland. When you choose Lynchburg, you leave a smaller footprint while building a better tomorrow.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities, learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible.
40-29 our score, 20 minutes through action here as the Lynchburg Hornets play host to the Shenandoah Hornets on the campus of the University of Lynchburg in Turner Gymnasium. I'm Joe Brennan, joined alongside my good friend and partner Kevin Nestor. Kevin, we expected some first half fireworks. We certainly got our fair share, but what really stood out to you through the first 20?
Lynchburg's ability to do it without the three ball. We know they're a team, Mike Gray, Pearson Young, that can knock down the three ball, but as a squad, they only knocked down 2 in the first half. They got it done everywhere else, though. They came out, forced turnovers. They're leading the turnover margin right now. They got points off of those turnovers. They dominated the paint. But the biggest thing to me, offensive rebounding. They're leading 9-4 right now, and the second chance points that came off of that. That's something that they're going to look to continue to capitalize on and extend this lead in the second half.
With that, let's take a general overview at the first half stats between these two teams. You can see Lynchburg with a clear advantage in every single statistical category. Those rebounds really jump out at you, but also the turnovers. This is a Shenandoah team that averages 12.5 turnovers compared to Lynchburg's 14.5. So far, the Lynchburg Hornets dominating in that statistical standpoint.
Yeah, and it's not just turnovers, it's the points off. They come out and they're leading 9-0 points off of turnovers in an 11-point ball game. That right there is your margin. If Shenandoah can cut down those turnovers, it should be relatively easy for them to get back in the game if the first half plays out the way it did without turnovers.
Certainly quick hands also playing a factor. The Hornets with 4 steals thus far. 1 from Bugs, Gray, Faust, and Hart. And with Gray in the conversation, him and Baldwin have been the go-to scorers today for both of these respective sides. Michael Gray leading the way for all scorers with 11 points. Baldwin right behind him with 10. And Michael Gray, while listed at 6'3" compared to Baldwin 6'6", 4 rebounds compared to the forward's sole board on the afternoon. And the three-point category, Gray's let him fly. He has not been shy whatsoever. 1 for just 5.
Right, and on Shenandoah's side, we talked their player to watch, Dorian Davis, coming in, not quite having the game he wanted to. He got into foul trouble early, but Baldwin kind of right on cue for his season. You know, he came in, he's been efficient all year, shooting 43% from 3 on the year. He's 1 for 2 today. He's shooting 66% from the field today, 50% from the line, but he's got, you know, leading scorer for Shenandoah, only player in double figures for Shenandoah by quite a margin. And if he can pick up where he left off, he could probably will his team back into this game.
Well, the second 20 minutes ready to take way. We appreciate you for tuning in wherever you might be listening. We got worldwide viewership today. We do. I got the analytics. Pretty wild.
It's awesome. Lynchburg making big strides.
Steven reverses the floor over to Russ to get things going. In the corner, it's Baldwin. Quick action right here from Shenandoah, and it sets up an open 3 from Russ, who can't convert. Brown climbs the ladder and hauls in the board, but they'll call a loose ball foul on the freshman forward. That'll be the first team foul here in the second half. Well, pardon me, that foul was actually given to Hart. And a 3 quickly capitalized on by Joshua Stephen.
Seems like Lynchburg wasn't ready for the inbound. They weren't in a set.
And that foul going against Hart is actually a big twist, because that would have been Jamarcus Brown's 3rd personal. And got him in foul trouble. Pull-up jumper from Mike Gray on the way. You can book it. A hot start carrying over here into the second half. 13 points from Michael Gray. He had 22 in the last meeting between these two squads. High post, it's Robinson back outside. Dorian Davis along pull up. That's sent back by Jamarcus. Here we go. Pearson Young with the left hand. I thought he was about to throw it off the glass to a trailing Jamarcus. We've seen that a couple of times this season. Taking the easy points to extend the lead back up to 12. Poked away. Gray came out of the scrum with possession, lost the dribble, and Shenandoah will keep it on this side of the floor.
Well, actually Lynchburg's ball. Baseline ref coming in, overruling the side judge there. But that's another one, you know, we talked early in the first half, Mike Gray's defensive progress throughout the season, really throughout his career, and another one there, poking the ball loose, able to get it, get another possession for Lynchburg.
How about Shenandoah's defense on ball screens today, Kevin?
They have been physical, they have been attacking.
Every single time they're jumping it.
And that's another huge key that I talked about earlier. How much contact will the refs let them get away with? They've done quite a bit up at the top, and the refs are letting them play, so why not?
14-point lead for Lynchburg after the bucket from Jamarcus. This is their largest lead of the afternoon. Davis off the curl, weaving his way inside, and a pretty lay-in with the left hand. Kind of a slow start today for Davis. That was his first made basket. He's now 1 for 5 from the floor. The leading scorer for Shenandoah only had 4 minutes of action in the first meeting between both teams. Pearson Young backing down Davis, flips it up with the right hand, no good. Faust fighting for the offensive rebound. He's got it. Quick pass. Young, the floater, no good. Couldn't get the roll.
Lynchburg not able to come away with points, but 2 more offensive rebounds, a stat that they've been dominating in since tip-off.
Those rebounds don't do you much when you can't capitalize with second chance points. Davis bullying his way down low. A quick start for Dorian Davis, the go-to man for the Shenandoah Hornets, with 4 quick points. And just like that, the Lynchburg lead back down to 10. We'll step aside, 17 minutes to go. And we welcome you back in. 10-point lead for the Lynchburg Hornets out in front of Shenandoah. During the break, our PA man put on Electric Boogie. And he was feeling it, having a good time, getting the crowd involved. Certainly a fun one here today on a lazy Saturday in Lynchburg.
Shenandoah coming out in another defensive set. This time, full court pressure going to be applied off the rip.
So a full court 1-2-2 zone. Lynchburg breaks with relative ease. Now throwing it up. Brown with the flush. That'll get the crowd off their seat.
That's the only issue whenever you leave those backdoor cuts wide open. He's going to take them all day, and we know the highlight reel that he is.
Brown rips down the rebound on the weak side. Yesterday, I actually got the chance to meet Jamarcus Brown's mother. And she was telling me, I got to meet the man that called my boy Superman. How'd that come to you? I go, well, ma'am, the way he is jumping off the gym as this three-pointer is buried by Neesmith in the near side corner. Telling it looked like he changed in a phone booth, came out in the Superman costume. Boy, he's flying all over the place. I mean, this freshman has really had a big impact for Lynchburg this season, especially in a year where they have struggled to keep their front court healthy.
Yeah, and it didn't take long for him to work his way into the starting rotation, and we saw why. The energy early in the season he was bringing off the bench, he carried that over into the starting lineup. And how many times have we seen the opening possession of a game be that exact play, a backdoor cut into a lock-in, coming out of half, starting games? That's almost their go-to play, and it's tough to stop whenever you can't match the hops that he has.
Jamarcus's grandmother, Ruby Johnson, also an active participant in our live streams. Got to show her a little bit of love.
I think a lot of the viewers, whether they're family or not, tune in to see some of these highlight plays.
I don't blame them. Jamarcus Brown connects on the back end of his trip to the stripe. Lead back up to 11. Davian Roberts now in the corner for Steven. Rises from 8 feet. Ricochets off the right side of the iron. Now it's Gray in transition, flips it up and kisses it off the glass.
He obviously has the athleticism of a guard, but his post control is like a big. The way he's able to get around bodies, maneuver to the rim, and just convert easy looks that aren't necessarily easy.
Michael Gray corrals the rebound. Lost the handle, ripped away by Steven. Across the timeline. Outside a long triple, Davis buries it from deep.
He was calling for that pass from the time the ball crossed half court.
A handful of games all around the ODAC today. Randolph-Macon and EMU got us started this afternoon. Gray in the corner, another three. Can't get it to go, but 3 free throws upcoming. Randolph-Macon out in front by 15 over EMU. Also Guilford and Washington and Lee just got tipped off. As we take another look at the long three from Davis. The 6'2" guard out of Florence, South Carolina, has had a great start to today's second half, but this game has been all Michael Gray thus far. A game-high 15 points. And he'll get 3 tries right here at the charity stripe. First one rattles home. It's his first trip to the line today, and what a day it has been for Lynchburg from the free throw line. This team ranks dead last in the conference in team free throw percentage, right around 60%. Today they are 11 of 14 from the line.
I'm going to let him knock these 2 down before I comment on what you just said.
They get now 12 of 15, 80% on the afternoon. I believe that's 80%. You can check my math.
I'm not going to poke fun, but I think the majority of our misses were Mr. Faust.
Faust went 2 for 4. Pearson Young went 2 for 3. It is 80% on the nose, so I do got to pat myself on the back a little bit. Now over 80%, 13 of 16 from the line, and Michael Gray will now grab a breather on the sideline. Eli Thomas will check into the game for the first time today. Seems like everything has gone right today for Lynchburg outside of the perimeter shooting. The Lynchburg Hornets are 2 of 13 from downtown today. Dribble handoff for Roberts, curling in, right-handed floater is up, no good. Thomas comes down with a board. Faust wanted the outlet pass, but now just gets a mismatch underneath, but Young wide open in the corner, no good. Rebound gathered by Roberts. Blocked by Faust at the rim. Met him at the mountaintop. And Jake Hart will reset with his shot clock at 20. Shenandoah back into a 3-2 zone. Time is dwindling, 3 seconds. Pearson Young chucks one up, no good. Brown to follow, got it. And Hillary Scott will take a timeout. Most likely to go through his zone offense. That was not a pretty possession. And it all started on the defensive end for Lynchburg. Back up by 15, their largest lead of the afternoon. And we welcome you back into Turner Gymnasium. The Lynchburg Hornets out in front by 15 points with 13 on the game clock, pardon me. It's been a dominant day thus far for Lynchburg. Aside from their 3-point shooting, where they're 2 of 15 from deep. Eli Thomas pokes it away. Thomas off the glass and in.
It's another one Jamarcus wanted back.
Seems like a technical foul has been awarded. I could be wrong. Looks like I am wrong. I'm not exactly sure what that stoppage was for.
I believe they called a delay of game on Jamarcus.
So that'll just go down as a warning for now. 17-point advantage for Lynchburg. Up top, it's Davis. Straightaway three, no good. A fight for the loose ball and a foul called on Jake Hart. Obviously, it's great to have the bleachers so close and personal to the floor. A free courtside ticket, you can't find many places, but right there a little bit scary as Baldwin slid in to the near side bleacher. Nonetheless, able to get back up on his feet. A scary moment, nevertheless.
Through the entire inbound process, Hart was pleading his case to the ref as to why that wasn't a foul.
Out of bounds on the deck. Davis, the last one to touch it. Another turnover, the 12th of the day for Shenandoah.
And Lynchburg, they've done a great job at coming out and kind of keeping the momentum they built in the first half. That was something in the first game that they played earlier this year up in Shenandoah they didn't necessarily capitalize on, with Shenandoah scoring 49 points in the second half to get back into that game. I think Lynchburg's handled that a lot better here in the second half.
You mentioned it, they're holding Shenandoah scoreless over the last 2:15. In that span, they've gone on a 7-0 run. Shenandoah back to their 3-2 zone. Seeming to give Lynchburg a whole lot of trouble. Brown in the middle, kicks in the corner. Hart nails it. Hart was 0 for 2 from deep. Those were his only field goal attempts on the day up until that triple. The lead has ballooned all the way up to 20 on a 10-0 run. The response, Baldwin buries it. Baldwin with 13 points on the day. 5 of 7 from the floor, 2 of 3 from deep. Jamarcus Brown a turnover. Davis, the dish, down low. Faust got a hand on it, but John Allen fought through it. Finishing inside, a quick 5-0 run from Shenandoah. Faust, he's got a step. A crafty move on the interior, no good. Brown can't connect on the follow. A fight for the loose ball. Which way is it going? Lynchburg ball. Michael Gray and Tyler Buggs will take the spot of Hart and Faust.
And it is a bit odd seeing, Hornet versus Hornet, but then also Shenandoah coming in red.
Buggs now backing down Allen on the low block. Gets it over to Jamarcus. Puts one up and draws the foul on Taylor. This will be Taylor's first personal and the team's third here in the second half. Buggs, quick flip, gets it through. Double figures now for Tyler Buggs, one of 3 Hornets to reach the 10-point mark. Inside, Steven gets the roll. Buggs is down. And the training staff now headed over to help. With that, we will step aside momentarily. We'll be right back.
I was looking for a school that could provide me with the athletics, academics to pursue my career, a wind symphony to pursue my passion for music, and really have a nice general atmosphere. The professors here are really unique, their background and their passion for teaching. It's really a place where you can explore. Lynchburg gives you the opportunity to fail, but also get back up in that period of time and learn from your mistakes. I can make these mistakes within the school environment, but also with the support of other friends, and be ready.
And we welcome you back into Turner Gymnasium. Tyler Buggs able to get off the floor on his own power. Looked like it was just a cramp, which is a good sign. He's had a spectacular performance today with 10 points on 4 of 7 shooting from the floor in just 14 minutes of action. A really great day from the big fella. And that front court becomes even thinner. Michael Gray, far side corner, guarded by Davis. Rolls back the other way, kicks in the opposite corner. Thomas rises from 3 off the back of the rim. And Davis pulls away the board. Davis on the far 45. Gets it right back up top. Gets his man in the air like a Pop-Tart and cooks him. Pearson Young caught jumping, and a great finish from Damian Davis, the Hornets' leading scorer. Gray, he'll try a 3. Air ball. Thomas right there on the offensive glass and draws the whistle.
Shenandoah, they have done an outstanding job actually in the half-court set. We mentioned the pressure they've been applying on the screens. It's really been, they've been flying to the ball wherever it's at. What's been killing them is the offensive rebounds. You see another one give up there on the missed 3 by Michael Gray.
This will be Eli Thomas's first trip to the free throw line today. This season, Thomas shooting 67% from the stripe. Cans the first one. Thomas hasn't attempted a free throw since the Guilford game. Back in January, he went 5 of 6 that game. He tied his season high 10 points in that contest against the Quakers. And after going 2 for 2 from the stripe, he'll check out. Cole Calloway will take his spot. Russ, handoff for Davis, who takes a high screen, kicks it right back to Russ. Now they go underneath for Allen. Great ball movement, but had it poked away by Michael Gray, and the 13th turnover of the afternoon for Shenandoah.
And the Hornet defense has just been, everywhere. Guards, perimeter. There's poking balls away, getting the deflections off the Shenandoah players. Extra possessions. They've been leading the buckets.
Michael Gray leads the Lynchburg Hornets with 2 steals this afternoon. They have 6 altogether. Shenandoah staying in this 3-2 zone, really forcing Lynchburg to win with a 3-point shot. Michael Gray, Euro step on the inside, kick out. Calloway, no good. Allen climbs the ladder, dishes over for his point guard Taylor. Now in the corner, it's Russ, an air ball. Now Henderson has the mismatch. He's telling Faust to clear out. He wants it over the top. They go on the deck. Henderson has it stripped away on the double team by Russ. Davis, pull up. No good. Faust the rebound. Sloppy basketball back and forth the last couple of trips down the floor, Kevin.
And Faust has come back into the game, and he's been assertive, grabbing his 9th rebound of the game. We mentioned his double-figure stat against Shenandoah earlier in the broadcast. He's a 6. Wouldn't be surprised if they start to look inside for him.
This set with guys on the nails seems to have really clogged the lane for Lynchburg. Gray, straightaway 3, pump fake, pull up, no good. Henderson, the board, and the bucket. Right place, right time for John Henderson. He gets his 5th and 6th points of the afternoon.
He has been a quiet contributor for this Lynchburg squad today.
Russ, 2-man action. Pull-up jumper, no good, but a foul on Michael Gray. That will be his 2nd personal. Or pardon me, Cole Calloway awarded with a foul, rather. That is Callaway's 2nd, team's 3rd. Lynchburg has led by as many as 20 this afternoon. First trip to the line today for Russ. Got the first one. Russ is 74% free throw shooter this season. A very efficient scorer. Shoots 38% from the perimeter as well. Two for 2. Now he will head to the sideline. Davian Roberts, his 6'2" guard, takes his spot. And this is a Shenandoah team that has a great mixture of young and experienced talent. Roberts is one of 2 graduate students on the team, also a handful of seniors, but also a lot of freshmen. 8 freshmen on this year's team. That makes up the majority of their roster. Faust, Hart will try it again from deep, no good, off the front of the rim. Quick crossover, move inside, no good, botched the lay-in. Faust wants to attack, goes up strong, no good. Lynchburg has made just one of their last 6 field goal attempts. Shamir Taylor on the inside. Corkscrewing his way down low, earns the whistle. Crafty finish. A lot of times today we've seen Michael Gray getting beat on that first step. But it's a Lynchburg 68-53 advantage with 6.5 to go. And we welcome you back into Turner Gymnasium. Lynchburg out in front, 68-53. Shamir Taylor at the stripe for a pair. These will be his first attempts on the day from the free throw line. On the season, Taylor shooting 78%.
For Lynchburg, Jamarcus Brown back into the game. We've kind of seen him stick with that 3-guard, 2-forward set here in the second half. They're mixing it up a bunch in the first half.
Second shot is up and in.
Big time pressure applied by Shenandoah. Hornets able to break it relatively easy, and Faust with a slam on the other end.
Well, that's the disadvantage of the full court press. When Faust can get behind you, he can make you pay. Jonathan Faust with his second slam of the afternoon. He's up to 8 points today. We'll keep it here with 6:16 on the game clock. Hornets out in front by 16. I mean, Kevin, what have you found to be the way that Shenandoah can really attack this Lynchburg roster and climb their way back into the game?
They've done a really good job defensively when they get into those half-court sets. It's the turnovers and the fast breaks that are killing them. Lynchburg has dominated the paint, and a lot of that's coming off, turnovers. If they can just stop turning the ball over, get better looks on offense, they've knocked some of them down whenever they slow it down and get into those sets. I think they've been in a foot race for a majority of this contest so far, and Lynchburg has just stretched it out over the course.
And Lynchburg has struggled from the perimeter, and putting it mildly. 3 for 21 from downtown, and is their worst percentage on the season, 14% as of now. But when you talk about dominating the interior and controlling the paint, Lynchburg has doubled Shenandoah's points in the paint, 40-20. They have also out-rebounded Shenandoah 39-19.
And 15 of them offensively, and that's something Shenandoah has done a really good job at forcing not the best looks. The problem is when you're getting those second, third, and fourth chance opportunities like Lynchburg has been all game, one of them's got to fall.
On the offensive end, Jonathan Faust leads the charge with 4 offensive rebounds. Jamarcus Brown right behind him with 3. Nearly half of the Lynchburg second chance opportunities have come from their starting front court pair. Davis, an air ball, looked like somebody might have gotten a fingertip on that one. Shenandoah now retreats away from the full court press and goes back to their 3-2 zone. Brown inside, kick out Hart. Opposite corner, Pearson Young, no good.
And Lynchburg, the flashes in the paint have been there with Jamarcus Brown and Jonathan Faust, but Shenandoah is doing a great job collapsing when the ball goes inside to force those kickouts.
Here's a kick out for Taylor, cashes in. Cuts the deficit down to 13. Those 3-point shots have kept Shenandoah relatively within striking distance. They're 9 for 21 from downtown. Shenandoah now back into a man defense.
I think they're kind of at a crossroad because when they apply the pressure, they're doing a good job. As you see a steal there, they're doing a good job on the guards, but they're leaving the back end open. That time able to force a steal at the top.
A hop step on the inside from Roberts earns a whistle. That is Michael Gray's second, team's 5th. They'll call it on the floor. Davis has had a great second half here for the Shenandoah Hornets. 11 points on 4 of 11 shooting from the floor today, to go along with 3 steals on the defensive end. We just saw one on the other side of the floor against Jonathan Faust for his second turnover this afternoon. But another quick turnover from Shenandoah, and they're right back into their full court press. An immediate foul from Roberts.
I think for Shenandoah, you're seeing it there. It's kind of been the story of their day. Guard dribbling off his foot for another turnover. It's It's just not been their day on the offensive end, the turnovers and the weak possessions.
2 Hornets went to the same place. Russ got away with a toe on the line out of bounds. Shenandoah will continue to take advantage. Another foul awarded to Lynchburg. Now moving forward, Shenandoah will be in the bonus after Mike Gray's 3rd personal this afternoon. Russ, corner jumper, no good. Not enough leg from Neesmith. Up in front, Faust, got it. And those are the kind of looks that Faust always wants in transition. He's the definition of a rim runner.
And he does, that bucket does continue his streak of double figures against Shenandoah. He's never scored in single figures in a game versus Shenandoah in his career. It's a great move at the top of the key.
That's what I like to call a $1 million move with a 10-cent finish. Couldn't capitalize on the step-back jumper after he lost Young on the pullback.
And it feels like Shenandoah, I know it's a 15-point game, but if they could just convert on a couple of these possessions, get it into single digits, this game could really be up for grabs. They've shot themselves in the foot multiple times here late in the second half.
And these are 2 teams that want to beat each other badly every time they face off. Shenandoah got the best of Lynchburg last season in the ODAC playoffs when they met in the first round in Winchester. That was a 71-65 win for Shenandoah. Just one of their 2 wins over Lynchburg in their last 10 meetings.
You mentioned playoffs. This is actually a pretty big game. I know 10 teams get in, but seeding does matter with the top 2 getting a bye in the first round. Lynchburg right now kind of in that 7 to 8 spot, but little room for error.
And with that, let's take a look at the current ODAC standings as they sit right now entering today. Obviously a whole lot of action, but that will shake up today. Randolph-Macon and Hampton-Sydney out in front as Davis connects on a 3-point attempt. Roanoke, Guilford, and Virginia Wesleyan also in the mix, still with a chance to come away with that top seed. But you can see Lynchburg right now on the edge of playoffs, right now sitting at 7th. Shenandoah on the outside looking in. And they would really need a win today in order to even have a chance at making it to playoffs, as Michael Gray turns it over in the backcourt.
You never know in the ODAC, because looking at that graphic, you see from 6 all the way down to the bottom, separated by 3 games.
Sidestep jumper from Stephen.
That
buries
was a $1 million move with a really good finish.
And just like that, the lead back down to single figures. And Jonathan Faust with his 3rd turnover this afternoon. Tried to catch it with his chest rather than with his hands.
That was kind of what I was talking about. When Shenandoah starts to convert on some looks, get good possessions, they're doing really good on the defensive end to keep their momentum up. For them, they're right back in this game with 3 to play.
Lynchburg this season is 6-3 at home, but 2 of those losses came in ODAC affairs where they had the lead late and the other team came back and hit a game winner. This will cut into the deficit even more so. 7-point game as we talk about those 2 buzzer beaters that the Hornets suffered here on their home floor. The first was to Roanoke in a game where they led by 12 with 45 seconds to go, led by 10 with 30 seconds to go, and managed to lose on the final shot off a 3-pointer. Against Washington and Lee, not as bad of a collapse, if you will, but led by as many as 5 in the final minute. And Washington and Lee walked off with a game winner from Colin Ryan.
And Shenandoah, they're a dangerous team to kind of give some momentum to.
And we've seen how they've performed in second halves this season, where they scored 49 in the first meeting between these two squads. Jake Hart will now head to the free throw line for a chance to extend this Lynchburg lead as it is shrunken back down to 7 points. We remind you, Lynchburg has led by as many as 20 today, which came at the 12:05 mark in the first half. So in the last 13 minutes, Shenandoah has shrunk the deficit down 13 points. Hart can't get the roll on his first attempt. This is his first trip to the free throw line today. I felt like I've said that a million times, but everybody's getting a chance at the charity stripe today.
Hart shoots 58% from the line on the season. Not quite what you want from a guard, but he converts on the second one.
Splits the pair, lead back up to 8. Shenandoah with all the momentum right now. Russ takes the high screen. Great two-man defense from the Hornets. They want to go underneath to Baldwin. Step back jumper. No good. A fight for the rebound, and Jamarcus Brown comes away with it.
And it seems like Shenandoah's intensity has picked up tenfold in the last 2 or 3 minutes here on the
Faust
court.
a mismatch underneath on the low block, but Hart waves him off. Now they'll feed him underneath as he's fouled by Baldwin. So 1-and-1 here for Jonathan Faust. And if you're Shenandoah, you can live with that. They'll send a 50% free throw shooter to the charity stripe when we come back. Lynchburg up in front by 8. A clash of the Hornets here on a Saturday showcase between Lynchburg and Shenandoah. Lynchburg led by as many as 20 10 minutes ago. Now with 2:09 to go, it's an 8-point game with Jonathan Faust headed to the free throw line.
It almost feels, doesn't even feel like the momentum has changed over the course of the last 3 or 4 minutes on the court. And this, not to put any added pressure on a 50% free throw shooter, but these are big free throws, because if you don't capitalize here and Shenandoah goes down and gets a bucket, this game's truly up for grabs.
Faust 47% on the season. He's 2 of 4 from the line today. His biggest trip. And can't get it to go. And all of his misses have really looked identical, where they just roll out and hit the front and the back and pop right out. Nevertheless, the Hornets will get another crack at it with 18 on this shot clock, as it was last touched. Looked like it was Baldwin that got a fingertip on that one.
And for Shenandoah, it almost feels like if they would have come out of halftime with this type of intensity, they could be leading right now, because they have picked it up big time.
Shot clock resets to 20. Shenandoah in desperate need of a stop right here. And get in the hands of their leading scorer, Pearson Young. Backing down Russ to the low block. Young across the key, flips it up and banks it home. Lynchburg back out in front by double figures. Damian Davis, two-man game with Baldwin, has it poked away. Underneath, no good, blocked by Hart. He gets it right back. Off the square and in. Baldwin now with 16 points today.
Hart a little bit shaken up after that possession.
Hart's seen the floor a whole lot today with 36 points, but it's Pearson Young with a big-time bucket down the stretch. Pearson, a guy that got off to a really hot start in the first half with 10 points. Now sitting with 12. It has mainly been scoring by committee here in the final 18 and a half minutes here in the second half. That has been a mixture of Faust and Brown, Bugs as well. I mean, right now you have 4 Lynchburg players in double figures. But at the same time, a similar showcase from Shenandoah as well. Stephen with 11, Davis with 14, Baldwin with 15. You also got Taylor with 9.
Yeah, you kind of took the words out of my mouth with Lynchburg. They come out, Pearson Young got hot early. Mike Gray in the first half was hot going into halftime, but since then it has been by committee. I mean, you mentioned it, you know, Hart took a couple of threes early. His scoring hasn't been there before, but then you got a guy, Jamarcus Brown with 8. Henderson has 6 in 8 minutes played.
And there you get a look at our PA man today, Kyle Haney. If you're a baseball fan, you'll know him very well by the end of the season. Running the show today and swagging, if I might add.
He has fun every time, whether he's on the call, working PA, he's going to have a good time.
I mean, he was just up and dancing before they got that camera on him. He's having a ball. I can't blame him. They're playing Earth, Wind, and Fire. How are you not dancing? Michael Gray still on the floor for Lynchburg. He has 4 personal fouls. Jake Hart with 3. Joshua Stephen, 3 for 4 from downtown today. He has had a great afternoon from the perimeter. Poked away. And the contested lay-in is no good. Michael Gray awarded with his 5th and final foul. And a chance to cut the lead back to 6 and make it a 2-possession game. It's Roberts at the line, who's 2 for 2 today. Roberts is 79% free throw shooter.
Call me crazy here, but I think they just gave the foul to Eli Thomas because Mike Gray's still in the game.
You are right. So Michael Gray stays in the affair. And
now they'll correct
now
it,
he's
it
done.
looks like.
Good catch by you.
I was going to say, Thomas wasn't even on the same side of the court.
But Thomas was saying, you know, I'm fine to take my first foul of the day.
Yeah. He wasn't going to say anything, but
let's keep our leading scorer with 18 points in the game. But now he's done, and the 5 on the floor will be Jamarcus Brown, Cole Calloway, Pearson Young, Eli Thomas, and Jake Hart. For Shenandoah, it's Davion Roberts, Dorian Davis, Joseph Baldwin, Joshua Stephen, and Landon Russ. Not a whole lot of size out there right now for either one of these squads. The 6'4" Brown and the 6'6" Baldwin. The 2 men with size right now as this one's kicked away out of play by Stephen. 6-point game, Lynchburg out in front. They led by as many as 20.
And I know at some point they've got to start looking beyond the half-court line, right? That's how they were breaking the press earlier. A couple of back-to-back turnovers in this full-court pressure, giving Shenandoah momentum. But the forwards, whenever they get off and running, they're beating their man.
Well, forwards were your key. And what was really the difference maker between these two teams, Shenandoah, believe it or not, is now winning the turnover battle 15-14.
That was a huge key in halftime. You know, they were down quite a bit, and that had led to, you know, Shenandoah had 0 points off turnovers going into halftime. And they have kind of flipped that script here in the second half. So now they're up to 18. Yeah. 18 points off of turnovers in the second half. all of these stats that were kind of lopsided going into half with Lynchburg dominating are either even or now in Shenandoah's favor, which is, it's kind of mind-blowing considering this was a 20-point game, what, 11 minutes ago?
Yes, sir. Especially when you see the disparity in the rebounding category like we have seen today. Lynchburg with 44 compared to Shenandoah's 21. Jonathan Faust has already tallied a double-double with 10 rebounds and 10 points. Michael Gray was flirting with one with 18 points and 8 rebounds before he just fouled out. So the next man up to watch would be Jamarcus Brown with 8 points and 7 rebounds. But unless this one goes to overtime, I don't see that happening. And right now, overtime certainly in the picture in a 2-possession game. A crucial possession right here for both of these sides. Shenandoah does have a chance to make it a 1-possession game and an opportunity to get the ball one more time if they can get a stop and a 3 on the other end. Young being harassed by Davis, trying to get it across the timeline. Has it poked away, a scrum, a fight for it, and that'll be a 10-second violation. Another Lynchburg turnover, their 16th of the afternoon. A perfect start out of the timeout for Shenandoah. And a timeout that Lynchburg had called to draw up a play to get it across the timeline.
For Shenandoah, you just can't emphasize enough the way that they have swung the momentum in this game in the latter half of the second half. It has been just a flip of the script, and they have executed to perfection.
So Shenandoah with possession, trailing by 6. You don't need to go for the 3 yet. You can look for a quick 2 and still find yourself in this ball game.
Especially with the way the defense has worked out for them in the last 4 or 5 possessions. I think 3 steals in the last 5 possessions for Shenandoah. There's no need to go for it all.
Saying there is a wet spot at the middle of the floor. Able to get everything wiped up, squared away. Roberts with the inbound to the backcourt. Feeds Landon Russ. Outside triple, Davis off the mark. Clock now under a minute. This is when you think about fouling, but that's not who you want to foul. You've got 3 guys on the floor right now that you would be exuberantly excited about fouling in Jamarcus, in John Faust, and in Jake Hart. Eli Thomas and Pearson Young, the 2 quality free throw shooters on the floor right now.
Now, obviously, still 51 seconds to play, but it almost feels like Shenandoah kind of let Lynchburg off the hook a little bit there, taking a 3.
1 and 1, no good. Roberts needs some help. He's fouled. A crucial crunch time foul, and only 9 seconds into the shot clock as well. So a chance for some quick points right here for Davian Roberts.
For Lynchburg, it's something that you cannot do. The guard dribbling, picked up his dribble, was in trouble, and you go over and take a swipe at the ball and make contact to send him to the line.
We saw Pearson, a 65% free throw shooter, miss his first attempt. Here's Roberts, who's 4 for 4 on the day from the line. Got it. Back down to a 5-point game. And important to remember that Shenandoah still needs to foul immediately. So we're playing the free throw game pretty quick. 42 seconds. That'll give them a lot of time, especially against a team that struggles to make their free throws like Lynchburg. So they will take off their worst free throw shooter in John Faust and put in Cole Calloway, their best free throw shooter, who shoots at 81%. Young dishes over Eli Thomas. Now you got a foul. Hot potato for Lynchburg, and Eli Thomas earns the whistle. Eli Thomas shooting 67% this season, but we mentioned it earlier in this broadcast, that isn't a high sample size of free throws that he shot this year. In total, he has only shot 21 coming into today. He was 14 for 21. He's 2 for 2 at the line this afternoon. He'll have 1 and 1.
What a big shot right here.
This is certainly the big one, because if Shenandoah can get a 3 in transition off the first miss, it's a 1-point game. You're happy sending them to the line.
Even if they just get a 2. You know, Lynchburg's not a great free throw shooting team.
No good. Pearson Young, the offensive rebound. Or no. An offensive foul. A push-off on Pearson.
Wow.
And that will turn into free throws on the other side.
Wow. Pearson picks up his 3rd. That was when you really couldn't afford there.
What a swing. And the man they foul in Roberts is 6 for 6 from the line, and he'll have 2 chances. No 1 and 1, double bonus. Got the first. It's a 3-point, 1-possession game.
How many times have we been in this spot this year?
This would be the 3rd, possibly the 4th if you want to include the Nazareth game that went into overtime. But it was not a comeback game like this. Not a comeback game like Roanoke or Washington and Lee. Jonathan Faust once again heads to the sideline after the defensive stand. Cole Calloway enters the contest. That's who they want to get the ball to shoot these free throws down the stretch.
All of a sudden, the Shenandoah bench has come alive. It has gotten loud here inside of Turner.
Jake Hart gets the inbound. Eli Thomas advances to the front court and draws the foul. Thomas got the heel on his last attempt on 1 and 1. This time in the double bonus, he'll have 2 shots. These 2 big ones. He needs 1 to make it a 3-point game, and for Shenandoah to either go the quick 2 and foul or the 3 to tie. 2 makes would make it a 2-possession game, but with 28 seconds remaining, if I'm Shenandoah, I'm not even looking for the 3, just continuing to play the quick 2 and foul.
You have continued to trim this lead down by doing that. A big free throw that time.
Jonathan Faust will return to the contest to play defense on the other end. Eli Thomas 3 for 4 this afternoon from the free throw line. His biggest free throws this season. Left it short. Last touched by Lynchburg, and they're going to send this one to review. Shenandoah had a clear chance to grab it right in front, but they let it roll out of bounds. We're going to need a clean look at it as they head to the monitor.
I'm not so sure they're going to have enough to overturn it.
We haven't seen a call overturned from the monitor booth yet this season.
And what a big call. When you put the replay system in effect for these type of situations, hoping that you don't have to use it, but.
And in all honesty, just because of the equipment that ODAC schools have available, I mean, we've got a 3-man broadcast today running the operation. And a quick shout out to our operations people. We have Brian Flowers, Grayson Howell, Sebastian Sierra, all running the camera. JP on the graphics, Ethan Moratsky, our director and producer. But it is not easy to catch these kind of bang bang plays in a matter of seconds. Eli Thomas seemed like he was pretty confident in which way the ball was going.
You're always going to take that at face value, right? Because there's a Shenandoah player that could have easily grabbed it. He let it go out of bounds, thinking that Lynchburg last touched it. Eli's swearing that Shenandoah last touched it. So the refs are in a pretty big spot here with a pretty bird's eye view of what happened.
In all honesty, if I was a betting man, I'd say that was last touched by Jamarcus Brown. Nevertheless, you can see they're certainly taking their time with this final look. As we bring in our rules analyst, Greg Tessitore. Good time to have that, wouldn't it?
Well, we're doing
Gene Tessitore, not Greg. My bad.
We're doing the best that we can. But I mean, realistically, both teams get a free timeout here, right? Talk it over.
Who does that value more? I think it depends based on where this ball's going.
Right. For Lynchburg, I mean, for Lynchburg, they needed just kind of a break in the action with the run that Shenandoah's been on. But Shenandoah get a chance to draw something up to tie this game up.
You got Steve Kudelka right in the middle saying it's Lynchburg ball.
Big call.
I don't know how you overturn it, in all honesty. I think that's the... They will not overturn it. The call will stand.
What do you do? I mean, if you're Lynchburg, you could always foul. Only give up 2 shots. That would be...
Down by 3, Shenandoah with possession. It's Roberts carving his way inside, flips it up and in. Count it, and the foul. The Shenandoah Hornets have battled back, down by 20. And it's Roberts, who's 8 for 8 from the line this afternoon with a chance.
I'm going to take back everything I said about fouling. Now, why foul when you got a guy who can finish a play like that?
Roberts with 10 points today. That was his first made basket on the afternoon. And he hits the most crucial of his 9 free throw attempts today to knot us up 76-76. 19.2 to go. Lynchburg with possession. Where do you go, Kevin?
Well, I think for us, go ahead and throw away all these stats in front of us. None of that matters anymore. For Lynchburg, got to draw up the best play. What a time this would be to have Mike Gray in the game, right? I mean, you got Pierce, who has been arguably your most efficient scorer all season. Jamarcus Brown. To be honest, I think that's where I would go with it. Get a play drawn up for Jamarcus in the paint. He has the height advantage, has the jumping advantage. If he gets fouled, I would trust him to knock down the free throw. At least one to get back in the lead. So if it was me, I'm looking to the paint for Jamarcus Brown. As I say that, Cole Calloway, one of the best three-point shooters on this Lynchburg squad, is going to check in for the final 19.
Finishing games in Turner Gymnasium have been an issue for the Lynchburg Hornets this season. They've lost 2 late leads that ended in buzzer beaters in conference play. If those 2 had gone the other way, Lynchburg would be sitting at a much higher spot in the conference standings right now. They find themselves at 7th and in danger of dropping another one. Shenandoah has outscored Lynchburg 47-36 here in the second half. And Kevin, you were talking about it at the intermission. Shenandoah, the definition of a second half team.
They catch fire and they do it quick. I mean, even the first 10 minutes of the second half, Lynchburg kind of dominated. And then Shenandoah out of nowhere catches fire, knocks down shots, gets stops, turnovers, steals. They're doing it all right.
And now Hillary Scott will want to take a timeout after seeing the full court press that Shenandoah is going to come out in.
And that'll be his last one. So for the final 19, he's out of timeouts.
Now if you're Shenandoah and head coach Nick Doyle, big decision time for your squad. Doyle has had a big impact for Shenandoah during his 3 seasons, won 7 games in his first year with Shenandoah, increased that by 10 games last season as they went on to win 17 contests and had an ODAC quarterfinal appearance, which they lost by 3 to the number 1 seed in Randolph-Macon. But a crucial moment here today as you need to win out the rest of your conference games to give yourself a shot to make it to postseason.
For Lynchburg, we talked about, the multiple ways they could go with Cole Calloway, a 3-point shooter. Jamarcus Brown is going to be in the paint. For them, it's just going to be about executing. Bugs is back into the game after leaving with injury. He's come in. That's big.
Jake Hart, Pearson Young, Cole Calloway, Eli Thomas, and Tyler Buggs, the 5 on the floor for the final 19 seconds. Thomas with the inbound, last touched out of bounds by Davis. And Lynchburg with no timeouts left. So a 5-second violation is certainly in the mix. Doyle now calling for a review.
And if this goes to review, it's a very good shot.
I mean, that would be self-explanatory, but game-changing.
From our vantage point up here, closest to the baseline was a Lynchburg Hornet.
What a game it has been today, Mr. Kevin Nestor.
Will be Lynchburg possession.
So 0.6 off the game clock after the inbounds, 18.6 with a shot clock turned off. The Hornets can hold for the final possession of this afternoon. Eli Thomas to inbound. They find a flashing Jake Hart, dribble handoff to Pearson, but it's not over till they get over the timeline. A few turnovers this afternoon with that. Shot game clock at 10. Pearson Young, crossover, pull-up jumper, got it! Pearson Young with 4.7. Davian Roberts advances. The clock trickles down to 2.1, but we're not out of here quite yet. Shenandoah will have a chance to tie or either take the lead. Down by 2 as you take another look at the cold-blooded jumper from Pearson Young.
You knew the ball was going in his hand, right? I talk about all the guys, but that's the most efficient scorer.
Pearson Young with 14 points, just 4 here in the second half today. And that one comes at a crucial moment in this bowl game.
You never want to be a negative Nancy, Joe. But there's 2.1 seconds on the clock and a Shenandoah team that has taken over the second half.
And a Shenandoah team that has shot the lights out from 3, 11 for 27, good for 41% from the perimeter today.
Lynchburg did their job offensively. Jamarcus Brown's coming into the game to guard the paint for Lynchburg. You got 2 seconds of defense in you. What a game.
The Hornets trying to avoid heartbreak at home for the 3rd time this season. Shenandoah with 2.1 to work with. The inbound will come from Landon Russ. They go opposite side. It's Baldwin rising up, sent the other way. No foul called. And Lynchburg walks away with a 78-76 win in the Battle of the Hornets. We'll take one more look at the final possession. They wanted to feed their leading scorer in Baldwin, working on Faust. Both him and Brown got in the mix and made it so he couldn't convert.
Brown, an amazing job sliding in from the inbounder to come over and get a piece of that shot. Big time defensive effort from Jamarcus Brown.
And that will do it. 78-76. Lynchburg with a 2-game winning streak, as now they head into a tough contest next Saturday against the 7th-ranked Randolph-Macon Yellow Jackets. And those 2 games, really crucial wins for Lynchburg in their last 2 that have happened this week, both in Turner Gymnasium. And now you're a Lynchburg team that feels pretty comfortable about going to postseason. You really just need to win one of your next 3 games. Granted, you're not going to have easy ones with Randolph-Macon and Virginia Wesleyan in that mix, in a Bridgewater game on the road.
They definitely got their work cut out for them, but being able to handle adversity the way they did, tonight, the way that they played Randolph, you mentioned a 2-game win streak in conference. That's big time momentum to carry over for the rest of the season. Only having to win 1 to get into the conference tournament.
And for Shenandoah, that really hurts your chances of going to the postseason. Shenandoah was 2 games out of that 8th spot, with Washington and Lee holding it right now. They go on to play Washington and Lee in their next game, but with only 3 games remaining, not a whole lot of time to make up the ground. Nevertheless, they'll play Washington and Lee at home, EMU on the road, and Bridgewater at home. So 3 very winnable games. If you're Shenandoah, you're still very much so in the picture, but your chances without a win today dropped what feels like about 50% to about 15.
All right, now all you can do is take care of your business. Me and Gates talked about it on the women's broadcast. Teams just, you can't control what other teams are going to do for you, but you got to go win. And you got 2 at home coming up. Those are big ones. You mentioned it, W&L and Bridgewater, but the one in Harrisonburg against Eastern Mennonite, that's a big game. Eastern Mennonite they've done some really good work upsetting teams this year, so.
Nevertheless, the 3 teams they will play are all in the back half of the conference standings. Washington and Lee, the highest ranked conference team at 4-7 in ODAC play. Well, that will do it for us here today from Wayne Prophet Court. A big thank you to our whole production crew for making this thing possible, and we appreciate you for tuning in on your Saturday afternoon. With that, thank you so much. We'll see you next time here on LHSN with our next game coming up next week, as women's basketball has their Code Red game this Wednesday against Val West. Thank you so much for tuning in. Till next time, have a good one.